Okay, hello everyone, this is Mapletree Pan Asia Commercial Trust second quarter FY 2023-2024 financial results dated 26 October 2023. Right, so we'll see that DPU has gone up slightly to 2.24 cents this quarter. However, at first glance it's a good thing, but later on you'll see in more detail that maybe it's not that great. Right, NAV is 1.75, leverage is 40.7%, occupancy is 96.3%, but again looks okay at first glance, but there may be some question marks behind that. So we look at revenue has gone up slightly 1.3%, operating expense gone down 1.6%, which looks like a good thing until you read this side and which says that the lower property operating expenses was largely due to the refund of prior year's property tax. Right, the word largely here suggests that this number would have been bigger than this number if not for this refund, which is, I assume, is a one-off thing. Right, so why is property expenses exploding? Right, primarily because of utility. As you can see here, it's up by 7%. Right, so I think they have issues controlling this spike in utility costs. Right, so anyway, we go down to the bottom line, we see that DPU has gone up 2.8%, but now I question if not for this one-off refund, whether or not it would have gone up at all. Right, so anyway, we look at quarter-on-quarter performance for the various properties. It looks like everything has contributed more. The Singapore side has contributed more. Even Festival Walk has contributed more. Right, the problem lies with China and Japan, right, which they say is mainly due to FX, right. Right, so when they convert from renminbi and Japanese yen back to Singapore, the amount of SGD that you get is less than before. Right, so yeah, we look at this quarter, second quarter this year versus second quarter last year. You can see that there's a drop of 8.2%. Right, the main reason for this is that there's higher utility costs, higher interest rates, and stronger SGDs again. Stronger Singapore dollar against all foreign currencies, right? So this is the main reason, and I think the main reason is actually higher interest costs. You can see that the net financial cost went up by 37.5%, which is a lot, right? So I don't think I will say too much about this. You can pause and read if you wish to. I actually tried to plot their quarterly gross revenue versus DPU to see what's going on. Right, so you can see there's this drop. This was when the merger happened, right? So this was just Vivocity and Singapore assets alone, right? Then this was when they added the Hong Kong assets and the China and Japan assets, and you can see that the DPU from 2.5 per quarter in this quarter, right, has been dropping steadily until last quarter, and then it made a slight improvement this quarter, which was supposed to be cause for optimism until we knew what we knew, right? And what was discussed earlier was mentioned, right? So property expenses, yeah, I was hopeful hopefully it stays like sort of flat, right? We will expect that this part was slightly better than this because of the one-off refund, but hopefully in the future it stays flat, so the REIT can pay more DPU, right? So net property income, it looks like it's plateauing. Financial costs, we know is going to look bad, right? Hopefully they can control this moving forward, right? So balance sheet, not going to say too much lah. NAV more or less unchanged, right? Their interest coverage ratio is 3 times, and yeah, they fixed their debt at around 80%. Cost of debt is 3.34%. You can see it's steadily going up from here, right? 2.44 to 3.14 and 3.34, right? So this is one of the main reasons why DPU is dropping as well, right? So they have some strategy to swap their Hong Kong loan into I think this is Chinese yen, yeah, I believe so, so that they can yield interest rates benefits, right? So hopefully this will reduce their issues with rising interest rates. I mean paying rising interest rates on their debt, right? So hedging of their debt, right, to fix interest rates, and also hedging their FX risks, right? So that's a good thing. Okay, won't say so much about this. Vivocity's shopper traffic has improved a lot, but sales has not improved a lot. So we have a lot of people walking around but not buying anything. Festival Walk, on the other hand, the shopper traffic improved and the sales improved equally. In fact, sales improved more, right? So there's a positive sign, right? So we have a look at occupancy. It looks good across the board, lah. Okay, except China, right, which clearly has some issues. Right, rental revisions, you can see that Vivocity is basically the one carrying, right, and Singapore in general is doing very well, right, and you can see why the original REIT was unhappy that it had to merge with this part. This part is all negative rental revision, and Festival Walk has actually a very high negative rental revision. And if you look at what they say here, I think what they say later, yeah, this is the average over the lifespan of the rental revision. Yeah, I'll try to find that part later. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, Singapore is doing well. The overseas part is the big issue. Yeah, so you can see China minus 3.5. Korea is doing well, but Korea is really small, right? So yeah, so in Singapore you can see the rental the rental revision is 14.2%, which is really good, and for Festival Walk, really not so good, right? Shopper traffic in Vivocity and tenant sales, this one we've discussed earlier. For Festival Walk, we've also discussed earlier, right? The outlook, generally, I will summarize. You can pause and read yourself if you want, right? Generally, they are cautiously optimistic in Singapore, right? I think perhaps more so on the retail side than the office and business parks, but cautiously optimistic on the outcome. Right, Hong Kong, we'll see a little bit more space later, a little bit more details later, but there's actually a lot of worries about a lot of retail space coming into the Hong Kong area near Festival Walk, which is not a good thing. So they are really banging on the fact that tourism will increase, right, and hopefully that will overcome the excess of space and improve Festival Walk's performance. Right, Beijing also seems to have oversupply issues, and Shanghai business parks as well. Right, so in Japan, it seems like the more or less the same issues that there's likely to be excess office space. Right, so not going to say too much. Right, so yep. Yeah, so this is the problem with Festival Walk. Right, so it's actually supposed to be very well localized, as in the location is very good. However, if you look at what they are trying to do, they say that there's upcoming developments that add a lot of space for retail, and this may exert downward pressure on rents in Kowloon East and Kowloon Tong, which is where Festival Walk is. Right, so I believe this is the reason for the very low rental revision. That means I think they try to incentivize the shop owners to take up the space with some discounts, so that that they can actually fill up the space, which is better than leaving the space unfilled. And the reason for that is they're trying to lock them in before these new retail areas come up, right? So that probably explains why they have high occupancy but actually poor rental revision. Sorry, this is the Hong Kong visitor arrivals. You can see also why this part has been so detrimental to Festival Walk, right? So the tourist numbers has dropped so much during COVID period and has only started to recover, right? The overseas tourists are only one third of its original in 2019, and Chinese tourists has recovered slightly better. Maybe it's a little bit closer to half, but there's still a long way to go. So this is what they're hoping for to help Festival Walk, right? So Beijing, again, you can pause and read, not much to say. All right, yeah, the market is overshadowed by oversupply. Okay, again, Shanghai Business Park, I think there is a suggestion that there is oversupply, right? So Tokyo, the same idea applies. So it's quite not so optimistic in the foreign market lah. So only Singapore is somewhat optimistic, right? So with that, I'll end my presentation. Thank you for listening. Please remember that I'm not a financial advisor, and this clearly not any advice to buy or sell this REIT.